Hi, and welcome to The Shit That Happens to Me, a podcast about life, love, and everything in between. I'm your host, Stacey Nye, psychologist, passionate storyteller, wife, mother, wannabe famous person. Now sit back and listen because I'm here to tell you about the shit that happens to me. So excited to be here today for another episode of the Shit That Happens to Me podcast.
Yo.
I have a very special guest with me today, Andy Riggs. Hi Andy.
Hi, good to be back. Am I a returning guest?
You are.
That's
back.
Nice.
I say back by popular demand.
Oh, really?
The big demand is me. And but yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Everybody's here for Stacey and I.
Right. But you had a very popular episode.
Oh, thank you.
And
Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm excited to talk to you because it's kind of like you have this little secret going on. Like I saw this post. Ooh, don't touch the microphone. I saw this post.
Yes.
On Instagram.
Yep. Riggs Radio. That's where it is.
Yes. And you had you broke a bone.
Two bones. First two bones I've broken in 38 years of my life on this earth.
And you are 38.
I am.
It's the first broken bones
ever.
I have not broken a bone. I'm knocking wood.
Yeah. Don't do it. I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Now I know why. I'm kind of upset that the streak ended.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've sprained my ankle a dozen times.
Oh, sure.
And that's super painful, but I can't even imagine.
I broke my radius. You have two arms in your two arms in your bone, two bones in your arm, right? In your forearm. You have your radius and your ulna.
Yes.
The ulna is on the pinky side. The radius is on your thumb side. I broke my radius on my thumb side, but just one break on the radius. Thank goodness it wasn't what's called a distal radius break, which is where like your wrist breaks up by the wrist, which happens a lot when you fall because natural human instinct is to stop the fall.
Right.
So you reach back with your hand and stop it. And, you hit the impact and your bones go snap and you go to the hospital.
Yeah. But you broke two bones. So one was a bone in your arm.
And the other one
wrist.
was my coccyx.
Yes.
Your coccyx is your tailbone. That's like the lowest bone on your spine. That goes like right up. Like if you touch the top of your butt crack and then go down like half an inch with your finger, that's where, damn it. Yeah, that's where it is. Yeah,
you said butt crack on my show.
It's called the shit that happens to me.
And we're drinking booze, but...
Don't yell at me for butt crack.
Butt crack is a first. But anyway.
Could have said ass crack. I could have.
That might have been worse.
It would have been worse, yes.
All right. So sorry I interrupted.
No, you're okay.
But you broke the coccyx.
I fractured my coccyx on the fall.
Yeah.
And I also broke my radius. So I had surgery on the radius and they put a big metal bar in there. And I can kind of take this off. I have like a soft cast on now. And they put this big metal brace in there with some like 6 screws. So I got screws.
Wow.
And Dr. Coppage at Wisconsin Orthopedic took care of me.
Yeah.
And he's the first man that's ever been inside me and fixed me. So that's what I said.
So we're on video. You can show everybody.
So here's my broken arm. And I got
you
want to see the scar? You want to see it?
Sure. I'm not afraid
I had surgery.
of scars.
Check that out, man. Check that out. Well, it's fresh.
Huge.
Yeah, it's fresh. So they had to, cut me open. It was also my first surgery. First broken bones. First emergency room visit. First surgery.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's a year of firsts. Yeah, it's all right.
And are there stitches there you'll have to get taken out?
No, they're dissolvable stitches. So they're inside my skin. They'll just dissolve and I'll have a badass scar with a story. And I'm going to get my first tattoo, I've decided.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a tattoo over the scar that says 6/17/21, never forget.
Oh.
Make better life decisions.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, tell us about the coccyx bone. So you have a literal pain in your ass.
It's literal, dude. It's the worst. It's the worst. It's way worse than the arm. Like my arm is fine. I can move my wrist and my fingers, no pain at all. But sitting down and standing up and sleeping, it's the worst because you can't get comfortable.
Yeah.
Every time you start to get comfortable, it stops and it starts to hurt. So you got to shift. So I'm waking up every 2 or 3 hours. It's the worst. It's the absolute worst. And everybody says it's like a 2-month recovery time, which
that's a long time.
I know. So
I joked with you. I don't know if you took it as a joke, but that I should have brought you a seat cushion.
I have one.
Yeah. Are you using it right now?
I'm not. These seats are actually surprisingly comfortable.
Okay.
In your Edge podcast studios here. Yeah. Allison, she spares no expense on the nice chairs.
No, she doesn't.
Way to go, Allison, by the way. She's watching or listening.
So did you have to have surgery on your butt crack?
No. You can't do anything for a coccyx. That's the problem with it because you can't cast it. You can't splint it. You can't really operate on it. So you just kind of let it run its course.
So no scar.
No scar on the butt. No.
And sorry. So it just fuses back together.
Yeah, it's just going to have to heal on its own. So
Yeah.
I've taken it really easy. I had like some FMLA leave, which I didn't know what that was, federal medical leave. I was like, oh, cool. I'm eligible for time off work. So
I literally thought that meant family.
It might be. I don't know. I think it's Federal Medical Leave Act is what it's called, or something like that. Medical assistance, medical leave assistance. I don't know.
I'm sure you're right.
Basically, I took a 3-week leave of absence, so I wasn't in work for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to work on Monday. So the last actually 2 days are the first 2 days that I've left my house because I haven't been able to go anywhere other than to the doctor and from the doctor for the surgery appointments. So I've just been cooped up in my house. My mother-in-law is living with us. It's insane.
How's that going?
So getting out of the house was a blessing.
Yeah, right,
so you said, would you like to leave, meet in person? I said, yes,
yes.
Let's meet in person.
So remind our listeners where you work, first of all.
I do. I work for 103.7 KISS FM here in Milwaukee. We're Eggs and Alex, the morning show for Odyssey.
Yeah.
So we're on every morning from 5 to 10. I've been there for the last 7 years. So that's where you might know me from. I also have a podcast, Rigs Off the Radio, which is another podcast where I have Mental Health Mondays. Haven't been able to drop a new episode there in a while because I've been on the injured reserve list.
Yeah, so, that FMLA leave.
The FMLA leave, yeah.
So, all right. So that just has to like heal on its own, fuse back together. It's super painful because you don't realize how much you're like on your butt. So does it hurt then to just stand?
Sometimes it can hurt. Everything hurts really.
Yeah.
It's always like they always ask for the pain scale, like on a 1 to 10 scale.
Yeah.
I'm constantly at like a 5, maybe a 5.5.
Okay.
Just
not
like
great.
No, but it's certainly not painful or unbearable.
That's
it's just,
like the face.
Yeah, that's just the
because the pain scale is accompanied by the faces.
It is. I love those faces. The grimmest face, the super happy face, and then the very sad face at the end for the 10.
Or the like.
He was definitely at a 10 after all the pain, after the adrenaline wore off from the break. So yeah.
Yes. So I said there was this like secret.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you announced publicly how you did this. Did you?
How I broke my coccyx and my arm?
Yes. You gave a multiple choice. Like you should pick which one it was.
Yeah. There's really 4 scenarios because anytime you fall and you break a bone, everybody immediately says, what did you do? How did you do it? What were you doing? What's the story? Yeah. And every time there's a story, it's always like, oh, that's it. Like you need a better story than that. Anytime I've ever talked to anybody that's broken a bone, 80% of the time I would say that's the way the conversation goes. What happened? Well, I was, on a soccer game with my kids and I climbed up on the top of the bench and then I fell off or something. So it's always something stupid. So
right.
Everybody wants to have a cool, badass story to how they broke bones because it makes it sound cool, right?
I mean, I did a whole episode on the stupid ways I've sprained my ankle. So yeah. So are you telling us it's not that exciting?
No.
It wasn't a skydive fall.
But what do you want to know? Do you want to know which story? Because I have 4 options. Let's pick one of the 4 options, and I will accompany it with a story, whichever one you choose.
I want to hear all of them.
Okay. Option number 1.
Yes.
I'm a skydiver.
Yes.
Was I had a skydiving accident on a landing. Yeah. Option number 2. I was on a ladder trying to get a kite off of a tree on a windy day at the skydiving drop zone.
Okay.
Option number 3. My mother-in-law is staying with us.
Yes.
She had a foot surgery.
Yeah.
So she's not the most mobile woman. I was helping her get into bed. And as I did that, I fell backwards while pushing her up. She fell back, pushed me back, and it broke my back. My little coccyx back there. Or we can go with option 4. I have a dog. His name is Samson. And when we were playing with his new I got this little launcher thing that shoots tennis balls. And as I'm reaching down to load it, he runs around behind me and I trip over him and fall back behind him. And that's how it happened.
These 4 options are pretty well thought out.
Yeah.
Because 3 of them aren't true, which means you've made them up.
1 truth and 3 lies.
Yes. So I'm going to guess. Can I guess?
You can guess. Sure.
I think it was Are you going to tell me?
No.
I guess no. Wait, you're not.
I'm never going to tell anybody.
You're never going to tell.
Well, that's what I thought was cool about it. Is I'm just going to let the people that really know will probably know, and that were there, and the people that don't know are going to be able to spread a wonderfully beautiful rumor about me.
So that's so funny because on Facebook you did this thing with the 4 options, and everyone is commenting, "Well, which is it?"
Yeah,
and you don't see you answer any of them.
It's a very ambiguous injury. It is.
Yeah. Wow.
One of the worst ones. So what would you go with? Skydiving, ladder, mother-in-law, or dog?
I'm going with the ladder and the kite.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, yep, you can go with that one.
Windy day at the drop zone.
Yeah.
Too windy to skydive.
So
we still like to do aerial things skydiving, and they've got a kite that's shaped like a parachute. So we can kind of practice flying it in the sky and learn how to fly our parachutes because it's got 2 toggles on the side, kind of like a parachute does.
Yeah.
So, playing around with that, gets stuck in a tree. Obviously, I'm thinking, sure, I can go up there.
Get that.
I can take care of this. No problem. And my buddy Mikey was supposed to be holding the ladder, and Mikey wasn't holding the ladder.
What?
Thanks, Mikey.
What kind of friend is that?
He's a really good friend, actually. He just made a dumb mistake, and I made the mistake of climbing up there. So,
okay. So I really think this is the one because you keep saying better life decisions.
Yeah.
Like maybe not to climb a ladder. Like you couldn't, of course you would help your mother-in-law into bed and you didn't know that the dog was going to come up behind you.
No.
Neither of those involved life decisions. And I know that you think, and I know that skydiving is safe.
It is as safe as it can be. And I've got 657 skydives now.
Yeah.
So I'm an instructor. I take people with me. Luckily, sometimes I jump by myself and sometimes I jump with other people. But, luckily I haven't had any horrifying skydiving, horrible accidents. I've had some close calls here and there. I think I talked about the last one on your podcast.
You did.
With the, when I was getting my tandem rating.
Right.
That was terrifying.
Yeah. So I know you're not going to stop doing that. So better life decisions, does that mean you're going to stop climbing ladders?
I'd make better decisions. Better decisions. I mean, I think honestly, if it's a skydiving injury, I would still skydive too. I mean, I wouldn't let something like that stop me from doing that.
Right.
Because it's such a passion of mine, honestly, that I don't think I could stop doing it unless it was like a horrifying situation.
Yeah.
But no, it's something I love to do. It's my self-care. I'm a big mental health advocate.
Right.
And that really centers me, skydiving. Because it's the only time I've ever had in life where you are literally living in the moment. You can't think about anything else.
Right.
Nothing else.
It's a mindfulness activity.
Don't die. Go fast, don't die.
You can't control like going fast. You're going to go fast.
Yeah. Well, you can go faster or slower. There are things you can do. So
yeah.
So there you go.
Okay.
And it sucks. I wouldn't recommend breaking bones to anybody, but I had the best care. Being in an emergency room was quite an experience, like having all the x-rays, and I almost passed out. I have a thing called vasovagal. You heard of that before? The vasovagal response?
Yes.
I get
Makes you feel like you want to pass out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because your blood pressure drops. It's like a stress response that your body gives.
Yeah.
And I almost passed out when they were giving me the IV for the for the drugs.
Yeah. Well, it's a nerve response.
It is.
I get that when they take blood.
I don't get it when I take blood.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, when I give blood. I donate blood every 8 weeks as often as I can.
Oh.
And I'm trying to get to a gallon. I'll get there soon. But anytime I get that, I'm always fine. Always fine. But for some reason, putting it on top of my hand for that IV, I was like, is this normal? No, that's a vasovagal. Just lay back. Put this ice on your head. You'll be fine. It sucks. So I wouldn't recommend this to anybody. Don't do it.
No.
Stay no breaks.
Yeah. Stay off ladders.
Stay off ladders.
Stay out from under ladders.
Yes. Don't pick up mother-in-laws. Don't walk in front of dogs.
So let's hear about your mother-in-law. Can we hear about that a little bit? Can you talk about that?
Absolutely, I can.
Okay.
My mother-in-law is 82. It's my wife's mom. And she had a foot surgery in March. Now,
is she from here?
She's not. She lives in Florida, in Venice, Florida. And now she went in March to have the surgery done, March 11th. I remember the day very vividly because we brought her home. She was planning to recover with us here in Milwaukee and stay with us. She said probably 6 to 8 weeks of recovery time. Just need to lay down and take it easy. We didn't know that it was such a massive surgery. She literally had her foot reconstructed. They broke all the bones, all the knuckles and everything, and reconstructed her foot.
Why?
She had this crazy bunion, dude, like
Bigfoot
feet.
Yeah.
Like I've seen her feet before. They were horrifying. Like she had this bunion growing out the side that it looked like a tumor. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And she's a dancer. Like she loves to dance. She's danced her entire life. So she's just been dancing on this bad foot for 30 years and it's just gotten progressively worse.
Yeah.
And she was going to have it the year before in 2020, but COVID shut down all sort of non-essential surgeries. So she wasn't able to do it in 2020. We scheduled it to 2021. We pick her up and we realize she can't even walk. She can't put any weight on it at all. So I had to literally carry her from the car, like through the threshold, like bride style, like into the house, onto the bed. Because she can't walk. She couldn't walk. And I told my wife, I go, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to. I mean, I love my wife and I love
Yeah.
her mom like
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
my wife, and I would definitely care for her if I had to, but we're not qualified for this.
Right.
And what happens when she needs to be bathed?
Yeah.
What happens when she needs to be, wiped down there when something happens? We're not qualified to do any of this. And plus,
And
we don't
her
have
butt crack?
You're right. We don't have a. Now you said it. And we don't have a handicap accessible house or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, this can't work. We can't do this. There has to be another way.
Yeah.
And we found there's a rehabilitation center in Chicago called Harmony, and they were able to get her into there. And this was like, they have nursing, they have occupational therapists, they have physical therapists to work her muscles and everything and keep her, ambulatory, and people to bathe her. She has meals, they have activities. So it was great for her. So she got to stay there for like 3 months. I think we took her there on the 13th of March, and we just got her back in early June. And today she got her last clearance from the doctor, and she's good to go. So she's spending a little bit of extra time with us because there was another mishap. I could also tell you that my mother-in-law, when I got back from the emergency room from my fall, from my injury, when I got home that night, my mother-in-law had a low blood pressure incident and almost passed out. So we had to call 911 and take her to the emergency room. So my wife had 2 emergency room trips in one day.
Wife.
My wife's a saint, dude. A saint. And I'm not just saying that she is.
Yeah,
She was taking care of me. She's taking care of her mother. Both of us at the same time.
Yeah.
And I can't help her mom because I'm incapacitated at the time. I had a sling and a giant splint on. This looked way worse than it does now.
Yeah.
Just looking at it now, it looks like I have a Michael Jackson wrist thing on, right? It's just like a fashion statement.
Right.
But it looks bad. It was a big splint. There was a sling and everything. So now I'm glad that I can move my arms around a little bit and get back out there and exercise my body, because I hate being stagnant and just not doing anything. I'm an active guy. I like to exercise. So
I would be stagnant every day of my life if I could.
It's like a lump on a log.
If someone said to me, you could be super healthy and strong and have a good core and all that stuff and never stand up, I'd say, sign me up.
Okay.
Yeah. But,
unfortunately, life doesn't work that way.
I know it doesn't. So
there's that. So yeah, my mother-in-law's living with us at least for another couple of weeks. So
okay, but she's all better now.
She is better now. She can at least walk around on her own and take care of herself and make her own meals. So it's
my grandmother had bunions like that, super crazy, and she was not a dancer, but I came from a family, they didn't do any elective surgery. So she was never going to have that surgery. And it's a terrible surgery.
Yeah, it's really brutal.
Yeah.
They break them, they reconstruct the whole foot. Yeah. They got to shave down bone. I can't even think about it.
Yeah.
So
bad.
She'll be better. She's much better. It's a good place.
Well, does she need it on both feet?
No. Thank God.
Just
that one. Just that one.
Okay.
I don't want to have to do that either. So one surgery was enough for me on the arm.
Yeah.
Now I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I had foot surgeries and was like.
You did?
I did. I had 2 foot surgeries.
Why'd you have a foot surgery? What happened?
Well, remember I said sprained my ankles dozens of times. So I apologize if I've told these stories already. So bear with me, everyone.
Give me the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah, right. Well, so I have really flat feet.
Mm-hmm.
My dad had super flat feet. His ankles were on the ground just about, and it got him out of serving in the army.
Mm-hmm.
But so I sprained my ankles. I had ligament reconstruction 20 years ago, but I had pain. I had a lot of pain, a lot of arthritis. And so I went to the doctor thinking that I could just, have laser or something to remove bone fragments. And he's like, oh no, you need to correct this problem.
Oh boy.
So I had what's called alignment surgery. I don't think I've told these stories. First doctor went and told me this, and the minute he said it, I was like, oh, he's right. I remember my dad's ankles. Went and had a second opinion. That guy's like, no, you don't need that. Just put these pieces of foam in your shoes. You'll be fine. And then I went and had a third opinion, and that doctor, he's not here anymore. Richard Marks. He was, great surgeon. He came into the room.
Richard Marks, right here waiting, was your surgeon? Like the singer? Richard Marks? You know Richard Marks, the singer?
Sorry. We'll have to edit that part out because.
Oh, man.
No.
You would know Richard Marks if you heard it. Oh, if I played a Richard Marks song, you would know it.
And maybe you'll do that on Monday when you go back to work.
Maybe I will. It's way out of format. It's from the 80s, but go ahead.
So anyway, he comes into the office and he goes, am I the tiebreaker? And we go, yeah. And he goes, you definitely need this surgery. So what they did, bear with, trigger warning. I'm going to talk about that. Well, we did that already, but
yeah, go ahead.
They cut the heel bone
Mhm.
and pushed it forward.
Okay.
And so it lifted up the arch.
Ah.
And I had that done on both my feet. And so to recreate, well, not even recreate, I probably never had arches, to create an arch in my foot to lift the whole thing up.
Holy
so that,
crap.
I mean, one day I might need new ankles.
Yeah.
But they had to do this first so that I didn't just create the same problem
Yeah.
again.
Isn't medicine amazing how they can do that?
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to wear a cast like a child. Like, you would think I would be in a big cast for like
Right.
8 weeks over the summer. I'd be
Right.
like, summer of
Yeah,
suck.
that everyone would sign.
Yeah. But
yeah.
no, like they did surgery. They put a plate in here and I'm fine.
Yeah.
That's insane. I'm moving my arm. Like,
Right.
I've seen people and they go, you broke your arm?
Yeah. You liar, they're saying.
You didn't break your arm. I did. Look at the stitches. You guys drew these on there? Yeah.
Stitches are nasty.
Yeah. So you've got crappy feet and I've got a crappy ass.
And I've I got a screw in each foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
I got 6. Well, 7, excuse me, 7. 7 lucky screws. 7 screws.
In the arm?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So they couldn't even screw anything in the coccyx.
Nope. No screws, no pins, no nothing in the coccyx.
It's pretty amazing that it just heals.
Yeah. The body's an amazing.
My son broke his
thing.
wrist
Uh-huh.
and they just put him in I guess it's a cast that count. No, probably something like what you're doing.
Yeah. It's like
and
a
it
little
took a really long
cast.
time, but it healed.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The wrist, they said you're lucky you didn't break your whole wrist because that's a much longer recovery process.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm hoping to be back to skydiving by end of August, middle of August on my own. I probably won't take any tandems this year because I don't want to put someone else's life at risk. Probably a good idea. Not till next year, but I can jump on my own by the end of August. So get me back up in the sky.
But I was totally non-weight bearing like your mother-in-law.
Yeah.
So for like...
Would you do crutches?
Well...
Or a wheelchair for both of them?
Knee walker.
Okay.
First, those dumb little scooters you're on one knee. And I did my surgeries at the end of December.
Okay.
Which is a good time because your deductible, you've paid your deductible. So the whole thing is nearly free.
Oh my God. That's a great
But
idea.
it's the middle of winter.
Yeah.
And so when I'm ready to start going out in the world, there's slush and snow in Wisconsin. So knee walker and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then crutches.
You put like chains on the wheels.
Right,
get around.
Yeah.
Little snow tires.
And my husband, Steve, is not I'm not saying anything out of turn. Like he knows he's not the most empathic person, but he had to take care of me both times, like the first few days, and he's just not like, he's a wonderful, wonderful husband and father, and I love him to death, but he's not like super warm and fuzzy when someone else is not feeling good.
Yeah, we're men.
Yeah, right. He's a man.
That's how we are.
Yeah.
Hide your feelings.
Right. So,
which is totally wrong, by the way. Men don't do that, but that's how we are. We're conditioned to be like that.
But he was great. He was really great. He cooked for me.
Good.
He did. I mean, there was no wiping of butts that had to happen. I could after the first day, I could take myself to the bathroom.
Yeah, there you go.
But,
How long have you been married?
30 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
30 years.
You don't see that much these days.
No.
People like long-lasting marriages. People don't get married anymore.
I dare him to like leave.
Good luck.
I know what I mean.
I'm sure you'll never find.
He'll I'm not letting him go.
No. 30 years now. You're fine.
Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah.
Would you get married at like 15? You can't be that old.
Aren't you sweet? No, I'm 59.
Wow. You said your real age on the podcast. Look at you. I like that.
It's funny because my mother was 39 her whole life. I mean, she
So
turned
was my
39
grandma.
And never went backwards.
So my grandma did. She turned 39 in 1993 and never grew.
Right. Never went
never
forward,
aged.
I mean.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, so it's good. And yeah.
So that's
anyway,
it.
that's it.
You just wanted to hear about my busted ass?
I did. I was hoping I'd hear the real story.
Well,
but
maybe you did hear the real story.
Well, one of them. Yeah.
You may. You heard all 4.
Yeah.
Either way, you can spread some rumors about me. Go right ahead. I was glad that a lot of people chose the latter because that shows confidence in my skydiving abilities. People are like, he's a safe skydiver. He would never be hurt skydiving.
I did not think it was the skydiving at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's my 4. You pick one.
So, other injuries have you had that haven't required the emergency room?
just like a sprain, like I've rolled an ankle on some skydiving landings sometimes, because when you're landing under a parachute, sometimes you'll stick your foot out to, stick your foot out to hit
break the whole table here.
Stick your foot out to hit the ground.
Yeah.
And your foot isn't supposed to go that way. So kind of roll it on some uneven surfaces. But that's happened before, but really never any major injuries until now. So my time ran out. The good Lord said, you know what? It's a broken bone.
It's time.
It's time for you to go to the emergency room. But it was a cool experience.
Yeah.
It was interesting. So that's the shit that happened to me.
The shit that happened
More
to
shit
you.
that happened to me.
Gosh.
Yeah. And thank you for bringing me on the podcast-a-thon.
Yeah.
I think that's very cool that you're raising this money to put kids in wheelchairs for sporting events. That's so cool, because
that's amazing.
These kids, I've seen those kids before, and I'm so happy that they're able to like participate in things and have that sense of normalcy, because it's got to feel so bad as a kid to see other kids running around and playing in sports, knowing that you can't do it. So you guys raising money for this amazing cause is helping those kids be part of everything and be part of something and feel normal and, be active as well.
Absolutely.
It's so nice.
It's awesome.
Thank you for doing that. That's a very cool cause.
Well, thanks for coming on, Andy.
Of course.
I really appreciate it.
Anytime.
And, well, we'll have to have you come back again.
Anytime.
I'm sure hopefully there'll be no more emergency room and things like that stories.
But I'm sure that plenty of shit will happen to me that we can discuss.
Yeah,
much like you. So thanks.
You can find the Shit That Happens to Me podcast everywhere you listen to podcasts. And remember, don't be a crumb.